I'm afraid to speak English. People will laugh at me. What if I start a conversation with a native speaker and I suddenly forget words? What if I just can't support a conversation like I won't be able to use my English? I have so many fears. What should I do? Hey guys, I'm Zaki Taufiqurrachman. Today I'm going to talk about this question that rise in your head whenever you are confronted with a situation to speak to a native speaker in English. I just want to say, first of all, I'm pretty sure you've heard that many times that it's just all in your head, but I know we need to kind of dig deeper and talk about your fear, because I had those fear, like even now when I speak Indonesian, because I'm perfectionist. I get very nervous because I know I make mistakes, and I know I forget words, and I know everything like this happen and my face turn red, and I just and it actually starts happening like when I'm relaxed. My Indonesian is a lot better, like if I'm in an environment just talking to my friend or just talking to someone else, it would be like really smooth language. And I start thinking like, oh my god, like this is one of the reason I stopped recording videos about Indonesia, just because it's been sliding and I have this fear. But I also have them in English, but the English, I understood that English is a tool. It's an instrument that I use to improve my life. And without it, I won't be able to achieve my new goals. I won't be able to get a new level of whatever related my company's development. So today, I'm going to start with fear number 1. People are gonna love it. The only time I've been loud in terms of my English is when as in real life. I get mocked about my accent a lot on social media, but it happened because I get hundreds of thousands of views, and I understand. They even get dislikes on YouTube, and there's be people who are unhappy with whatever I'm doing, and just because I'm doing it, they will be posting that comment and hate me or whatever. But I also understand sometimes it's actually good to have that feedback, because people tell me, Zaki, that was wrong. The press wasn't correct, but they're not laughing at me. They're telling me how to be improved, and I accept that with gratitude. So the only time I've been loud at actually happened when I was talking to my friend, and I told him I was so hooked up with this person. I want to say that we're really connected with a person, but I use a phrasal verb to hook up with someone, and this is not what it is. Not what I mean. And another time it happened recently on Instagram. I came to a butcher store and I post story that I miss his meat. When meeting American conventional English, when you say I miss his food, it means I miss his. And again, people laugh at me, but I thought it was funny. It's not like, it was like Viennese people. Oh my god, Zaki, do you know? It has a second meaning. It is not like they are angry at me or making a mistake. It was like, a friendly advice. So I've never ever had people in real life laugh at me, say, oh my god, your English is so bad. What are you doing here? Never ever happened in my life. And I started practicing English at the age of 14. I was hanging out with really means teenager. Can be really mean that they can tell really bad things in your face, but never has that ever happened to me, because people understand that I'm making an effort to be understood. They understand that I come from a completely different culture, and that I ever I never speak spoken English to my parents or to my girlfriend. So the only exception is social media. Like if you're speaking English and social media, just be ready to get those hate. In social media, just be ready to get those hate comment, and even if you're perfect in English, even if you're 120 or out of 120 on 12, and you post a video how you got that score, you would still like, if it goes viral, you will still get comment from people. It's impossible your English is not good enough. Like there would be always be people in social media hating you, but in real life there's like this tiny change. It's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen, guys. Native speaker, especially Americans, especially British, people are very friendly. In real life, people who I meet, people who I talk to in English, even when I was intermediate, they were really friendly and really supportive. So it's all in our head, and I think if you have this fear in English, like people will laugh at you, you probably have it in other aspect of your life. So it's just another reason for you to sit down with yourself and think about like, I don't have to be liked by everyone. And again, I'm a person who has this feeling all the time. I want to be like everyone. I want it. I'm fighting this. Like once I started my channel, I realized I can't be liked by everyone, but it was really hurting me every time. I read something negative about myself, and it took me a while to understand and to realize that my goal is to use my talent, is to grow as an entrepreneur, YouTuber, whatever, as a son, and do the best that I can. What other people think about me, it's other people's business. They have own understanding of reality. They have their own experience. Maybe they just have a bad day, but it doesn't have anything to do with me. And if you want to dig deeper in this problem, I really advise you to read the book, The Courage to be Disliked. It's like one of those books that I started reading last year. I think last year I had this, I don't know, personality crisis, but I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. I'm afraid to do this because people would comment and they will be unhappy with what I do. And I started just doing a lot of psychological research, and I started reading a lot of books, and that was one of the books that really helped me. Like it just talk about how you can control other people's emotion, or can control what they think of you. What you have to do is focus, and what you can do the best is focus on your goal and start and achieve them. Another thing, I could recommend watch The One on Netflix. It talks about this woman entrepreneur who's a little ruthless, and she's not like a role model that I want you to follow, but it just talk about like how she deals with all the problems that rise. When I was thinking, like if I were at her place, I would have definitely given up, but she continued going. I really encourage you to read those books, to watch The One on Netflix, and to just read interviews related to this topic, because this will help you in your life in general, not just with English. Of course, you will realize that the majority of people won't laugh at you, and if they will, it is their problem, it's not your problem. You're doing your best, you're practicing English, you're putting effort into being understood by people who don't even speak your language and don't even make an effort to learn your language. Okay, psychology class, it's over. Let's move up to some practical advice regarding other things that you can do. So there is another fear: what if conversation gets too complicated and I won't be able to support? I also get this fear, like for example, again, I can't really relate to this English right now because my language is pretty. I would say pretty. It fans to talk about all kinds of topics, but with Indonesian, I can totally relate. And when people start asking me about business, I understand that I will start a conversation. I will talk about my company, but if they start digging deeper, I'll be like, oh my god, this is too complicated. And what in 2018, I had to have a surgery in Indonesian, and I was surprised. I was actually able to communicate with doctor and nurse about medical stuff, because basically when we talk about English with 1,000 words that make up 86% of the conversation, and what you really need to know, if you know those 1,000 words, if you got into specific conversation, you can always ask for definition or like specific word. So it was in Indonesian doing that surgery, I was like, oh, and what is this Indonesian? I can say it in English, or I could show you on Google, and once I learned like 5 or 7 words that I need that were related to that surgery, the conversation become really easy because you don't need to know like the whole idea of surgery, medical, business, vocabulary to support an advanced conversation. All you need is those 1,000 words. And also, if you're like, oh, I don't know how many words I know right now, this doesn't actually matter. If you understand this video, that means you know enough words to support the conversation. So start practicing, and if you forget a word, if you don't know the term, if you forget a word, you can just Google on your phone with Google Translate and show your party this word, and you will be totally fine. And this is by the way you will learn this word really fast. Let's continue another question. Is that, what if I feel shy? What if I stop and freeze? Okay, this can happen as well if you are too nervous about the conversation. The trick that helped me a lot is to pretend that you're someone else, because again, stopping and freezing has to do something with what's going on with your internal. Like maybe you're again thinking that people are gonna laugh at you, and just there are so many thoughts in your head that you can't just process them. So imagine that you're a different person. If you're speaking to a native speaker, you've probably in a new country, nobody knows you, and once this conversation is over, you will part ways with the person. So try to pretend your favorite movie character. Try to pretend you're an American if you're an American. Try to pretend that you are a famous blogger that you really like, I don't know. Try to pretend to be someone else just for this conversation. Just let your fear go, and it helps you become more confident when you speak. Next, what if I offer someone? That's another fear, and one thing I want to remember here is that when we talk to a person, people pay attention to our body language, to our facial expression or emotion, and even if you say something incorrectly in English, they will understand you didn't really mean it. And also they would understand, like if they tell you about something and you don't understand, you just say yes, and a lot of time people will tell you but you didn't understand, right? And they would explain in another way. It's okay to say, I didn't mean that, sorry, but was that offensive? Because my English is not good enough, it's okay. But if you're smiling, if you're open, people understand 100% that you didn't mean to offend them. That it was like, oh my god, I'm sorry. It's something we're used to in our culture, or mix up the word people would understand. Now let's wrap up this video with a couple of tips. If you have an important conversation in English coming up, maybe you have an interview with a university, the worst mistake that you can do is actually overthink. It makes sense to prepare. Tell yourself, okay, I'm nervous, but this conversation I'm gonna have in English. It's fine, understand that I'm nervous because it is an important conversation. I understand that my English is maybe not good enough and I haven't practiced, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and I'm gonna use this conversation as practice. And after this conversation, I'm gonna sit down and think what is good and what is bad. I was really bad at analyzing things afterward because I'm this perfectionist, and when I shoot a video, I don't want to see it just because I understand I could have done better, and this is an endless process. But I actually taught myself to look at numbers. I taught myself to actually sit down and think what I did wrong and what could be done better, and it helped a lot with your progression. So after the conversation, sit down with yourself and think, did I do everything I could do? And if not, just have some tips for yourself for the next conversation. And it's not in my iPhone where I just put in things that I could do better in my videos. And I do those tips. I don't always look at before an important video and just remind myself that I make those mistakes. It is okay, it's good, and I know about them, and I'm gonna be better in the next video. The next tip: do it until it feels normal. Just keep having those conversations in English. Keep being shy, keep being nervous at some stage. You're gonna be tired of it, especially if you're in an English-speaking country or if you're applying to universities. I have a lot of people here in the US who are applying in the universities, mostly children of my friends. Oh my god, I'm so old. But they're applying to like 24 college at once, and interview number 10, you just get tired of it and you just get used to it and you don't feel nervous anymore. So keep doing. Also adopt the grow mindset, something we've already talked about. I'm good at speaking English, my accent's not good enough yet, but I'm using this as a way to practice, and I'm using this exact conversation as my way to improve. Life is simple, we overcomplicated so many things. We tend to think that this meeting is game changer. It is not. You can always do another meeting. There are so many people in the world. There are so many opportunities. If you don't get any results from the upcoming conversation, doesn't matter. You can do a lot more conversation. The most important thing is that you have yourself, you have your time, you have your brain that help you speak English. Like, don't create problem for yourself in your life. We only have one life, and I want you to go ahead and enjoy it and look everything from a positive perspective, especially if it is something like smaller, like conversation with a native speaker. Come on, it's gonna be fine. Life is easy. Smile, tell yourself, if not today, you're gonna make it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, you're gonna make it in a week. It's fine, man. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have friends who are struggling to speak English or any other languages, please share this video with them, and I'll see you very soon in this video. Bye.